I'm Sally Cousins, and this is the last vlog for Protego. Protego is also known as Moose, and he is owned by Melissa Stubenberg. This is a video of his first event. The skies absolutely opened, and the event was running a little bit early. And I said to the person with me, "Oh, I better hurry up and get into the ring before it floods." Well, you can see I didn't make it. It was raining that hard. I think we got about 2 inches of rain in half an hour. It was unbelievably wet. But he really tried to be a good boy, and he's good about water and puddles, but it was pretty unbelievable. I've ridden in a lot of rain, and this was quite extraordinary. His work's obviously much steadier than this. He was distracted, and I was really proud of how well he held this together. I think the judge slightly took into consideration the conditions. He was a little unsteady in this test, and he ended up getting 33 or 34, I think. And I think he earned it. These were certainly unusual. I'm not the only person out there riding. You can see there's still other people in the ring. But this ring had no puddles in it when I started the dressage test. And here I am most of the way through it, and it was completely flooded. I had to completely change my clothes, and we put in really massive studs to do the jumping phases, much more so than I would normally do in beginner novice. But a lot of people ended up having to scratch. The footing held up pretty well, but obviously 2 inches of rain seriously affects the going. I'm a big believer in having the option to wear studs. I think if he had not been drilled and tapped, I probably would have not felt comfortable taking him. I had called Melissa to see what she wanted me to do. It's clearly still her call. And she said if I thought the conditions were okay to go ahead and go. And they were. It was a little bit deep. He did slip in one place out in the next field. But in general, I was very happy with the experience he had. I think that the one little slip just happened in a turn. It did not happen in front of a jump. So all in all, I was very happy with his performance here. One of the things that happens when we're cross-country schooling, it's easy to start and stop and not put a number of jumps together. And he is still at a place where completely going away and doing this stuff on his own is still new to him. We're very fortunate where we are in southeastern Pennsylvania. We live about 10 minutes from Boyd Martin's place where the Windora cross-country schooling is. And these are videos of Moose schooling at Fair Hill. And again, this is a little bit of a start and stop. This is a video of Moose at the Young Event Horse Qualifier that we did in September. Moose is a very late June 4-year-old, and he is very big. He is, I think we're saying he's 17.2. But in any case, so he was a little bit gangly, and he's behind some of the horses maybe that were born even a few months earlier. At this age makes a big difference. This was held at the Maryland Horse Trials. We got up at 3 in the morning to take him down there. It's about a 2.5-hour drive. As you can see, it was incredibly foggy that day. By now, it's a whole lot better. We got there very early to let him walk around the rings, to experience the venue, and I couldn't have been happier with him here. I thought he was very professional. He has by now been steadier in his work. I know that this test is judged more on quality of gait, so I was asking for maybe a bigger trot than he can hold steady at this point. This is his first time in a large dressage ring. I had read in the rules that it could be either a small or large dressage ring, and I really did not have the opportunity to get him into a large ring. In fact, with a horse this big, the big ring is a huge advantage. So I thought that this was a good experience for him. I thought the judging on this was quite fair. He has a really good canter. He has a good trot, and he did not show off his walk very well. You'll see that coming up shortly. It's not that he doesn't have a good walk, but I really wasn't able to get the free walk that he is often capable of. One of the things that I found with him, and you'll see it later in the jumping video, is I think that he would have been a little bit freer in the walk had he been going back towards the trailers maybe. I mean, he's a green horse and he was exceptional, but I had to work a little bit harder to get him to stretch out, and we really didn't get the quality of walk that he is capable of. But he was very well behaved, and I do think he put his best foot forward here in this work. We did take him out onto the jumping course so that he would at least be familiar with the venue. This is him doing the cross-country part. He really is his best on the cross-country. And I was surprised a little bit with the huge variation in the jump heights. Here is a pretty good size ramp with brush on the top. Then we come up the hill to a table with cutouts. And again, he's very brave cross-country. He's really good about water, and just a little bit of the awkward opening that's coming up, I ended up having to trot in there. We had to go between two cross-country fences that were set up for the event coming up. So, and I know that the 4-year-olds are not penalized for trotting to any of the fences. So this is the section where we trotted. And then the fence out of the water was quite small, and he didn't jump it with much expression, and I think he ended up getting 3.5 or 4 on it. And had the jump been a little bit bigger, I think he would have made a little bit more of an effort. But he went from the fence that was 3.3 to a slightly spooky fence into something that was maybe 2'3". He jumps well out of stride there, and then he turns left, and this surprised me a little bit. There was actually a decent-sized training bank on the course, and I know that it can be that, but I couldn't have been happier. That is the biggest bank he's ever jumped, and he handled it really well. Again, I'm galloping up the hill away from all the other horses, and they did make a comment that although he had a great gallop, that they thought I had to ask too strongly for him to show it. I do think had we been going towards someplace he had ever been before, I think he would have been fine. He's a little green to gallop completely away from everything. But he was absolutely super this day. We will not be taking him to the championships, even though we qualified. We are going to, we just think maybe it's a bit of a big trip for him. Had it been held at Fair Hill, we certainly would have gone. That's a day trip for us. But we're really excited for what he's going to be doing as his 5-year-old young event horse year. Thank you. This has been a great experience, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of this going forward.